Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Mr. Iqbal, Minister of Planning, all the Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And I want to start from the announce that today, 21st of March, is day of starting Nowruz Festival. And I want to congratulate all our brothers and sisters from Pakistan, from Central Asia guests, with starting of Nowruz. As you know that in our country, our language is Tajiki, and I want to share with you one important thing about the history of Nowruz in a very brief misra from Shahnama Ferdowsi. That time he said, "Ba Jamshed bar gawhar afshondand, maran roz ra roz naw khwandand. Buzurgan ba shadi biarastand, mayu jamu ramishgaran khwastand. Chunin jashn farrukh az an rozgar, bemand ast az an khusrawan yadgar." This is in Farsi. I think many of you understand Farsi. Thank you very much. And concerning the presentation, yes, we very interesting that the level of our exchange and the level of this conference is very high, and this is really, Pakistan is a land of opportunities for Central Asia. And also I want to say that Central Asia also opportunity for Pakistan. This is very important. Please change the slide. It is important to take into account the interaction of challenges to the development of countries and the challenges of developing regional economic cooperation. The intensification of cooperation in the region is especially important. The dynamism of changes in the world conditions is very high. The scale and impact of global food, fuel, and financial crisis are growing, and apparently the high level and volatility of prices for food and energy will be felt for many more years. The increasing need to reduce the vulnerability of national economies can intensify the process of diversification, the economy, trade flows, and accordingly transport messages. The prerequisites for ensuring dynamic growth in the medium term are likely to be increasingly associated with resolving problems, weak investment flows, slow productivity growth, high commodity prices. In the medium term, security will also be a priority. First of all, this is due to the consolidation of the efforts to counterattack terrorism and extremism. The implementation of international transport communication and energy project, their impact must be supported the security, including the context of their high capital intensify and duration of implementation. Next, please. You see the economic growth targeting 4 country development strategic macro targets. I think it's understandable. Second page, please. The second page is the economic growth, population growth, and I think it's also understandable. Next, please. The economic growth. This is also, you see the situation in the Central Asia. The economic growth is, I think, is also understandable for all of you. It seems that the economic cooperation at last, four themes direction may be interest to all SCO countries. Let me also congratulate Pakistan to enter as a member of SCO. This is, I think, very, very important for all Central Asia countries, because we have a new challenges and we have a new opportunity also, new opportunity to work more closer in framework of SCO. About SCO is food security, water and energy issues, development of transport, communication and transit potential, production cooperation. Next, please. This is the custom tariff for imports is not excessive. You see the situation with the traffic. It is important to promote, another please, it is important to promote the formation of economic corridors, in the center of which there are transport and energy arteries, favorable terms of trade providing concentrated commercial types of activity, creating opportunities for business, tourism, and other social economic activities. Another change, please. Okay, this is the development. And please, next. I want to share some brief ideas for conditions for the formation of economic corridors. The concept of economic corridors is new, and it is an important perspective format for regional cooperation. At the same time, the requirements that cover transport networks, energy, information, and communication technologies, urban infrastructure, and economic zones are growing. Promotion in the process of forming economic corridors pressures the following prerequisites: a high level of support and trust between governments, the formation of common interests, involvement of entrepreneurship in the formation and development of the corridor, development of institutional mechanism for coordinating the activities of various stakeholders, qualitative macroeconomic and sectorial analysis of the development of the countries of the region, long-term planning horizon. Next, please. I think it will be also interesting the source of investment in infrastructure projects. As a rule, the state accounts for the bulk of investment in infrastructure, more than 65%. Accordingly, private investment accounts for about 35% of the investment in infrastructure. As a mechanism of public-private partnership and the total volume of infrastructure investment, the share is about 8%. Road concessions can be attractive long-term profitability about 10 to 17% on invested capital, when structuring a public-private partnership, it is extremely important to have an accurate forecast of future long-term income from the project. And mechanisms are needed to form a long-term infrastructure project. Next, please. You know the problem of security, and I want to share with you some ideas about the security problem. Security will be a priority. At the same time, external calls are actualized. First of all, the risk that come from Afghanistan. The problem of terrorism and extremism in the short term, the threats will remain relevant not only for the countries of Central Asia, but for humanity as a whole. This will primarily depend on the position of world and regional powers, the extent to which their geopolitical and geoeconomic interests are realized in the region. For the Central Asian republics, the unsettledness of the Afghan crisis will prevail in terms of the main challenges and threats emanating from this country. Sorry. Since the stabilization of the situation in Afghanistan in short term is not possible, the countries of the region need to independently improve the forms and methods of fighting against the terrorism and extremism threats of our time, and to identify and implement this work within the regional organization of which they are members. To effectively fight against the terrorism and systematic approach to the organization of anti-terrorism activities at the state level is needed. This sufficient number of specialized structures available and the state, and the state level is needed. The sufficient number of specialized structure available in the state can be called prepared for the fight against terrorism, and only conditionally there is a delay in their actions. We need advanced operation work. Please, next. Areas of cooperation can be expanded and choose their priorities. This is the exchange of information and trainings, the technical and advisory assistance, and joint operations. The intensify of contemporary threats requires consolidating efforts. Taking into account the evolving situation in the northern provinces of Afghanistan, as well as the fact that the situation on the southern borders of the SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, states members may worsen, it is important too. Provision by the SCO states members of mutual assistance in developing and armed forces of Tajikistan, equipping them with modern weapons and military equipments. Improvement and development of the collective forces of the SCO. Development of integrated military system. Development of the SCO peacekeeping forces. Organization of inter-agency information exchange using a modern telecommunication automated information system of secure communication between law enforcement agencies of the SCO state members. Increasing the institutional level through the implementation of personal training, retraining, and training program for law enforcement officers and the fight against terrorism, extremism, and other challenges and threats. For the Republic of Tajikistan, it's also important to intensify foreign economic cooperation. Next, please. It is important to continue activity resolving the basic strategic task related to the achievement of energy and food security, as well as the country's withdrawing from communication isolation and the modernization of the entire transport infrastructure. The priority direction of cooperation is not only trade and economics ties, but also the implementation of infrastructure project and production cooperation. It is important to reduce the vulnerability of the economy due to the slow growth in export and the decrease in the inflow of remittance. Reasonable macroeconomic management and structural reform aim at diversification and better integration in global and regional markets will create more economic opportunities and reduce Tajikistan vulnerabilities, not shocks. Another, please. This is our view of National Development Strategy of Tajikistan. You can check it. And please, another one. I'm sorry for being so. Reforms and aimed at creating favorable investment climate. You can check it yourself due to the time. Another, please. Another, please. Next one. And also very few information about Tajikistan and Pakistan I want to share with you. Officially, diplomatic relations between them were established in 1992, and the same year a delegation of the Republic of Tajikistan visited Pakistan, during which a number of documents were signed, including an intergovernmental agreement on trade and economic cooperation. It was on 1992, and that time I was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and I visited with a delegation Pakistan that time. It was a great chance for me. The volume of trade between countries now $41.4 million. It's very slow. Tajik-Pakistani intergovernmental communication and trade, economic, scientific, and technical cooperation, cooperation in the implementation of large infrastructure projects, membership in the WTO, the SCO, the Islamic Development Bank, Islamic Economic Forum. Next, please. Cooperation in the implementation of large infrastructure project CASA 1000. I think you know about CASA 1000. A lot of information, that's why I don't want to repeat it again. Next, please. And only share with you the perspective of direction of cooperation. First, I think it will be industry, light industry, organization of joint processing of training raw materials and the manufacture of product from it, creation of joint production for washing wool up to 850-900 tons per year, creation of joint manufacturers for the production of garments, creation of joint production of the production of terry products, human towels, bed lines, clothes, creation of joint production for the production of packaging materials, joint production of folk craft products, chemical industry, creation of joint production for the production of potential and ceramic products, others, technical cooperation and information exchange in the field of science and technology, cooperation in the field of joint implementation of research projects through specialized center and universities providing an opportunity for the implementation of scientific program by these institutions, preparation of mutual visits of experts to research center of both countries, and holding joint seminars, conferences, and symposiums. Thank you very much.